back, everybody, to another episode of the PG Talk. It's a different type of episode today because we have a guest, but he's not here physically with us. We're doing some sort of Zoom call. It's a Zencaster that we're using, but his name is AJ. AJ, I'm gonna go ahead and let you introduce yourself a little.
Hey everybody, I am AJ Huff. I am the founder of Design the Everything, which is both a physical product business, but then I also have a YouTube channel and an Instagram where I'm more active.
Yeah, awesome. I'm actually really excited to have you on because we met back at Chick-fil-A. That's when I first came in touch with you, and it was super fun working with you at Chick-fil-A. And then I took off to the military, and then can you just kind of go into what you really did after that? Because I'm not really too sure, and like you moved down to basically where you're at now.
Yeah, so talking life, not Design the Everything.
Yeah, currently.
Let's see. So I worked at Chick-fil-A for a while. I finished up college and moved back down to Indianapolis.
Okay.
I got a job down here working as an engineer and did that for just a couple years, and now moved again. I'm in Muncie. Working in Noblesville and just commuting.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Yeah, we're actually moving up to Noblesville by like towards the end of the year. So
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we have a couple friends that live over there, and now with the kid coming along, more like sense of community, everyone kind of helping each other out and stuff. So that's what the plan is right now. So where'd you go to college?
Yeah.
I went to college at Purdue.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
And you did that while you were at Chick-fil-A?
Yes.
Nice.
So when we were working with you, you were in school? Because I don't remember that.
Yeah. The whole time I was working at Chick-fil-A, I was going to school at Purdue.
Okay. Yeah, and then so we met at Chick-fil-A. I think we met you at Chick-fil-A as a team member, and then you became a shift leader. Do you think like the shift leader process kind of helped you to get through college and to, start your own YouTube channel?
So at this point, I already had a YouTube channel. You guys probably didn't know that.
You already had your channel?
No.
My YouTube channel was about 6 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, I went on it when you told me about it on Instagram like a week or so back, and I saw like a video that was posted 5 years ago, but I never made the correlation that was that far back.
Yep. We can get into the whole story behind Design the Everything,
Yes.
but I originally started the YouTube channel doing software tutorials on a program called Fusion 360, which is a design software that you'd use if you were to design like a physical product.
Okay.
So then, going into Design the Everything, what is it, and like what do you do, and what was your inspiration for starting it?
So my mission statement at Design the Everything is we make beautiful things that people love to use every day.
Awesome.
And that's kind of intentionally broad, but really what it means is we make a physical product that people can actually use every day. So we're not making art. We're not making some super specific niche tool. We want to make things that will make you just a little bit happier to use them each time you see them and use them every day.
Yeah.
And we've done a couple things. My most recent product is a carabiner, just like you'd hang your keys on or whatever.
Yes.
I've made like a pocket pry bar. We've done pens. That was our first real product. Things like that. Well, we would most of what would be described as a EDC product, an everyday carry product.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, I saw your most recent video on the carabiner, but I didn't. It was a very interesting video, but it just because I have no knowledge in any of that stuff, I was just kind of like, what's the word?
Not knowing exactly what.
Yeah, I was just kind of enjoying it for what it was. I don't know like much of the background stuff going on, but it looks pretty interesting, and I'm assuming it's a lot of math and calculations to make sure everything is coming out the way it's supposed to, right?
You would think so, but not as much as you would see at first glance. That's all handled in that software I was talking about. I still do all my design in that same software called Fusion 360.
Okay.
And it handles just about all of that.
Okay.
So when is that so? What's your like ultimate goal with that? Because I know at the previous place you're working at, you guys did stuff for like the card readers at stores.
Yep.
So,
I still work there.
And while you were you still work there. So you're working there and you have the design to everything.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. My goal here is at some point in the near future to go full time with Design the Everything.
Mm-hmm.
But at the moment, I'm still working my day job as an engineer.
Okay. So I'm assuming the design to everything is treating you pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, you guys should know this, like starting any sort of business is a ton of work, especially
Right.
like right at the beginning.
Yeah.
And I'm at this point, I'm easily doing like 80-hour weeks between my two, like Design the Everything and my day job.
Of course.
So it's a little bit of a grind, but like I'm really close to going full time.
So did you start Design Everything all on your own, or have you had like partners with you?
So you probably keep hearing me say we, and that's kind of a bad habit because for a long time, Design the Everything was a partnership between me and my best friend named Scott. And he has stepped away from Design the Everything at this point to go pursue his own like freelance graphic design career. Okay. But my brain is still in the habit of calling it we. At this point, Design the Everything is just me.
Okay.
But for a long time, it was myself and Scott.
So you handle all the background, everything, your Instagram, your YouTube channel, because Design Everything has its own website and its own YouTube channel too, right?
Yes.
And like as far as like the YouTube channel, I recently just subscribed to it, and honestly, you have like, I think you're above 3,000 subscribers or more than that.
Yeah, I think I'm coming up on 3,600, something like that.
Okay, yeah. So like, how did you get to that point, and what was your expectations when you first started that YouTube channel? And did you ever think you were ever going to get so many subscribers?
Okay, so funny story. Like I said, I started this YouTube channel like 6 years ago. The thing that made me start it was I was in a Facebook group with a bunch of what we would call makers, people who just like making stuff. Mm-hmm. And I had some background in this software from college, and like other people didn't. And you know, you're getting this like 50-year-old woodworker who's trying to understand this fairly complex software. And like I had some experience with like leadership, and like I had done ROTC, and I was like, I can teach people. And so I started this YouTube channel to like just basically help my friends.
Right.
And in I think the first 3 months or so, I hit that 3,600 subscribers.
Oh wow!
Because like it was in this fairly large Facebook group. There's probably a couple thousand people in there. Like I was making it like for this really targeted niche, and like I knew these people, and you know they knew me, and they shared them with each other.
Right.
And so like if you look at my growth on YouTube, and I can send you guys a screenshot of my like lifetime analytics, like all of my growth is in that first like couple months, and all of my big viewed videos are there. And I did that for a couple months, and then let's see, I think basically as I was doing that channel, I had my first daughter, and like it just became too much, and so I stopped doing it. And then there's this like 4-year gap where I didn't make any videos, and then I started again, and I tried, and like I was getting like 100 views, you know, and like I did maybe 3 or 4 videos and stopped again.
Yeah.
I recently again picked it up and am doing it consistently. And like for the past month or 2, I've been doing a video every 2 or 3 days, give or take.
Nice.
And trying to actually really grow it.
So, have you gotten the like any partnership with YouTube or anything? If you don't mind me asking.
Through YouTube, no.
Okay.
My Instagram is been active basically this whole time. I posted daily on that account for, gosh, I think when I first started, I posted daily for like 500 days. And then
Nice.
I got a little less consistent. And, then, when I started picking back up again, I did it probably daily for another like 500 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've tapered off a little bit since then, but
So
Instagram has been where I focused most of the time.
right, because it's I guess you could say it's a little bit more targeted. It's shorter videos. You can kind of get the point across for like simple things that you can show, versus like YouTube is more like you can make it definitely longer format. So with like what you go behind like the YouTube channel and like the audience you're trying to reach.
So that's something I'm still kind of figuring out myself. Because I have this problem where, and this is especially true on Instagram, there's the people who are following me, which are like machinists and engineers and, welders, like people interested in making things.
Right.
But then I'm selling to a different group of people. And like there's a little bit of overlap, but my problem is, like, one of the problems I have is my target audience for my media is different than the target like audience for my products.
Right, for the actual product you're trying to sell.
Yes.
Because like you mentioned, the people who follow your Instagram are people who like basically do what you do already, so they wouldn't necessarily need to buy it off of you. They could just make it themselves, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've been doing this for, like I said, 5 years, and I still just haven't figured out how to solve that problem, because like the things that I can show are what I'm doing. And so it attracts the people that are interested in what I'm doing and not necessarily what I'm making.
Right. I think it'd be cool to show like the finished product. I took a look through your website, and you guys make wallets, or I saw like wallets on there.
The wallets were actually a failed Kickstarter from a couple years ago.
Oh, okay.
And we are just selling off the end of our inventory.
Cool. Yeah, because I was looking through it just to see what it was about, and I like how the website looks and everything, and I was like, oh wow, like they make wallets too. Like I didn't expect that one to be on there.
Yeah, we used to, when I still had Scott with me, we had a super nice custom website, because that's like what Scott did. Was graphic design and websites. But I found it really hard to get new products listed on there, which made it hard for me to like keep making forward progress. Like I like to make new products, and if it takes me 3 weeks to put an item on the website, then like it slows me down a lot.
Right.
And so now I've shifted to what's called a pattern website, which is actually hosted and ran by Etsy.
Oh.
So except for Kickstarter, I do the majority of my sales through Etsy. And like I can just, it's basically just a checkbox, like give me a website, checkbox.
Right.
And I pay them a couple of bucks a month, and they take all of my listings and like that I have on Etsy and just throw them over on, designtheeverything.com.
Awesome. It's just so cool to see that that you have your own business and you're running with it. What was like? How'd you come up with the name Design the Everything? Because I like the logo, I like the name. It looks real cool.
So the name came from a meme.
Oh, what?
And you guys know the meme that is like the person holding like a torch, and they're like, do all the things.
Yes. Yeah. I know.
So at some point, I don't remember the background, but Scott made a meme that was like, design all the things. And that became Design the Everything.
And then it just clicked right away.
And then like I said, we had that name right from the beginning. It clicked. He made the branding for it, which has been like really strong.
Yeah.
And we've just kept it ever since.
Yeah, like it looks cool. Like the name's super catchy. It makes sense. The logo is top notch. Like it looks really nice.
I've definitely considered changing the name, because like imagine being on the phone with a bank, like trying to get them to like put your name on an account. and you have to explain this design the everything. Like it's not design everything, it's design the everything.
Right. There's definitely worse
Um,
like products or company names out there though.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think yours is a little clever. You know, it makes sense. You know what I mean?
You're like in a way technically designing everything and like making it too.
There's some latency between us, by the way, so I'm sorry if I'm talking over
No,
you.
you're
Oh,
okay.
no
Go on
worries.
with what you're going to say.
No, it's a little different because we're so used to just talking to someone that's actually here. So like it's like a sort of back and forth thing where we're used to kind of like just butting in sometimes. So I kind of have to like keep myself back from like butting into what you're saying. But honestly, I totally forgot what I was gonna ask you. But you were saying about design to everything, how you basically just make everything. Because I just recently saw the YouTube video you uploaded, I think like 2 days ago. And by the way, your editing on that is really nice. It's like super entertaining to watch, like nice back and forth on everything. And that machine that you were using, is that something like what exactly is that machine?
So that's called a CNC mill. CNC just means that it's like controlled by a computer, and mill just means it uses a tool that kind of looks like a drill bit, and it can cut metal from the sides. That machine is, and it took me a long time to build up to this machine, but that machine is kind of what is enabling me to eventually go full time. It is productive enough that like I can make enough money with that machine where it is now reasonable for me to take that jump.
Oh.
Do you still do 3D printing? Or
I do not do as much as I used to. Not really for any reason other than like I have enough other stuff going on that like 3D printing is fun to play with.
right.
But like it's just one more thing to do.
Yeah, I get it. I remember when we first moved when I first moved to Indianapolis, and you invited me and Karen over, and we went over, we had dinner, and we had the board games, and you showed me your garage and all the 3D printing stuff you had. And I remember just looking at them, it was cool to see in person.
Yeah, the mill's a little bit bigger, and it's kind of presented some like logistical challenges with it. It wouldn't fit through my garage door at either house, the house I moved from or the new house. So we had to like take it apart, and like it was a whole ordeal to move it. It weighs about 2,000 pounds.
Holy cow, that's a big machine.
And the funny thing is, it's like they consider it a small hobby machine, like compared to the like industrial ones.
Right. So you literally had to take it apart and reassemble it inside of your garage to just have it in there.
Yep.
Dang. Yeah, I saw it and I'm like, that. Okay, so is that kind of like a paint to clean after every use or after however many uses, or like what's the maintenance on one of those things? Because it looks pretty intense.
So the maintenance isn't that bad. Like the people who design these machines know what they do, and that they make a mess. They make a lot of metal chips.
Mm-hmm.
I have not been great about cleaning mine. If you see mine, it is a mess, but that's because I'm getting ready to install what's called a coolant system, where it sprays, it's like this oil water mixture at your part to keep the metal cool as you're cutting it.
Oh,
And
cool.
one of the benefits of that is you can literally like hook it up to a garden hose and just like wash the machine down from the inside.
Awesome.
And so I keep not cleaning my machine because I know it's going to be really easy in the future when I have that. So it's just a mess right now. Oh, but there's a bin underneath it that collects all the chips.
Okay,
So you just
yeah.
like spray them down the sides. They fall in a bin. You pull it out and like dump that in the
Okay,
recycle bin.
yeah,
or
because
trash
in
or
the
whatever.
videos it shows the water spraying all the chips and like keeping it like the work area clean for the machine.
Mhm.
And I always wondered if there was some kind of drainage system to that, or if it literally just went all over the floor.
Yeah, so the machine is fully enclosed. I guess there's like some of the roof that's open, but I mean when I get the full liquid coolant system in there, like it'll just spray water everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll keep it all nice and contained and funnel it down.
Was that So you only have one of those, right?
Yes.
And are you looking to scale even more with it to where you end up having to get in like industrial machines, the industrial versions of it, to be able to keep up and make what you make?
So eventually, I have so I was starting this in college working at Chick-fil-A. Like I was not exactly overflowing with cash.
Right.
And I started with a $1,000 machine, $1,000. It was, relatively small, and it just kind of bootstrapped my way up. I got the
Right.
$1,000 machine. I did some work on it. I made it a little bit better. I sold it for $2,000. With that, I bought like a $3,000 machine. I sold that for $4,000. Then I bought a $5,000 machine, and I sold that one for $4,500. But after that, I was able to finance this current machine.
Okay.
With the money that I made on those other machines.
Right.
And, it's just, you kind of keep bootstrapping your way up until you get to this machine. And this machine, think car in terms of prices. So, but it's financed over 5 years. So
Right.
it's like farming.
And if you're making your money off of it and you're doing, it allows you to make more product, it's totally worth the price,
Yeah. Because with the pry bars, which was one of my previous products, making those, the machine was pretty easily able to do like $150 an hour worth of products, which paying off $600 a month if you're making $150 an hour is not hard. You just have to be able to sell the products that you're making, which is always the hard part.
How much, what kind of struggles and successes have you seen with just selling a product?
A lot of the biggest problems I have had, the biggest problem I still have is focusing and continuing to sell the same thing.
Okay.
I have generally gotten pretty good through YouTube and Instagram of showing the thing that I am making at the moment and selling that, because people are excited. I'm excited about it. People are excited about it. It's fresh in their mind. But then I move on to something else, and I don't know how to sell the old thing anymore.
Yeah.
Right, because you already moved on to the next product. So the old ones, old news, you don't even, it's like an afterthought, so to say.
Yeah. And so learning how to keep making money off the things I've already invested a lot of time and effort in, that's really what I need to learn right now.
And without, I guess more knowledge with already previously selling stuff or being some kind of salesperson from the past, you're learning all that stuff now, right?
Yes. Yeah. I think I would say one of my bigger problems is that I'm not learning it. Is I keep doing the same thing. And, I know I need to find a better way, but it's not as fun as making things.
Yeah. I feel like you just need somebody to attach to you to be able to do all that aspect for you, because you're obviously really great at designing and actually making the product. And if you could just get somebody or that can just come along and that knows how to sell, I feel like that'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
But until then, I don't know, I think you're doing a good job.
Yeah, and that kind of, I'm sorry, go on.
You can finish what you were saying. This next question kind of goes along with that as well.
I didn't really have a completed thought, so
okay. That's fine.
save me for myself.
So does your website kind of show you the statistics of what people click as far as products, and show you how, if they click off of it, so you can see what the most popular products are?
So it gets lumped in with my Etsy store, and I get way more traffic from Etsy than I do from my own actual website.
Okay.
Oh.
But yes, you get pretty good analytics, kind of like the YouTube analytics.
Right.
Okay. Because I know on Instagram, there's also on your story, if you have your professional account set up, you can see how many people have clicked on your each post and everything. So maybe try and see maybe people didn't really want to see this product and they're clicking on this one more, so maybe this one's more in demand.
I can tell you what people click on. It's the thing that I'm doing right then.
Oh, really?
It's the newest thing. Yeah.
Is that because you're promoting that more on your Instagram?
It's because the majority of the people buying my things right now aren't necessarily doing it because they need a carabiner or they need a pry bar. It's that like they have this kind of long-term built up, what I would call a parasocial relationship with me, and they're trying to support me.
Oh, okay.
So like they see me excited about it, so they're buying the thing that like I'm excited about and doing.
Oh yeah, I guess that actually makes a lot of sense. You haven't really, I guess, really branched out to strangers outside of people who you really know.
Or like my Instagram account I think right now is coming up on 11,000 followers. Like I don't know all these people.
Yeah.
I don't interact with all of them. There are some people on there that I interact with all the time. Like I have people that I would consider friends that I only talk through Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
But when you are a creator putting out media, either YouTube or Instagram, like the reason you do that for marketing is because you're building this kind of weird one-way relationship where like you were talking to that person, they aren't really talking back to you, but that person in your audience like feels like they know you and they want to support you and buy your stuff. That's why social media works as a form of marketing.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's free, you just download the app and you start posting right away. So it's honestly, it's probably like the best form and like the cheapest to start like putting all your stuff on there and trying to reach a broader audience.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you don't have a budget, like social media is the only way to grow.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to be doing like sending direct mail to people. Like here, I have $20 in my bank account. I'm going to mail all of the county coupons. Like no.
Yeah.
Social media.
Or start doing it like the old times where you start walking around like door to door, doing like selling things. Nowadays you go up and knock to somebody and if they're not expecting company or they don't know who you are, like good luck, nobody's gonna answer that door.
You're gonna call the cops on you.
Yeah.
And I haven't checked myself, but do you have a TikTok for your business?
I like early on when TikTok was first coming out, I made one. I claimed my username. I made a couple videos. And this is going to sound like a dumb reason to not use TikTok. I don't like using TikTok because I can't listen to podcasts and audiobooks while I'm doing it. I listen to podcasts and audiobooks like 100% of the time, basically. Like when I'm working, like I work 8 hours a day in my day job. I am listening to a podcast or an audiobook 100% of that. I get home, I go out to the shop, like working on the machine or whatever. Like I have a podcast or an audiobook on.
Right.
And like TikTok interrupts that and it bothers me. And like I just was never able to get into TikTok. I wasn't able to use it myself. And like if I'm not using it myself, I can't understand it enough to make content for it.
Yeah.
Right. And it makes sense because I feel like a lot of the TikTok stuff is definitely, it's a different audience. It's hard to find more things that you do, so to say. Like at least from what I see, it's a lot of gym stuff, it's a lot of like motivational or even just like the dances they come up with,
Yeah.
I think it would be pretty fun to watch you do a dance in one of your.
I would probably get views.
Yeah.
Not for the reasons I want.
Hey, all publicity is good publicity, right?
That's the thing too with TikTok. I think it's very like the views are kind of very washed because there's also a feature on TikTok where literally you can basically pay to promote your video. So in a way, it's kind of like a pay to win type of thing.
Yeah, I mean you can do that on any platform, but
right.
Yeah. The thing I don't like about TikTok is, so I was just talking about this idea of like the point of like the way that you make money on social media, like not going through brands or whatever. But the way you make money to sell stuff is you create this relationship between the creator and the audience.
Right.
And YouTube, I feel like, is the best platform for that because you can make longer form media. Or in my case, like 3-minute videos, because that's what my attention span is. And like YouTube is the best platform for that. Instagram is like all right, because you can kind of keep like a constant touch with somebody. You know, you can get a post to them every day. You can do Instagram stories, which I've been doing. Well, I had a period where I did Instagram stories really heavily. That's kind of, my focus has shifted to YouTube lately.
Mm-hmm.
But with TikTok, it's like, you just scroll through the For You page and like you see a billion other people. Like, you're not going to see someone's like TikToks in order. And like, I'm sure it's possible, and I'm sure there's people doing this well, but I don't know how you would build that relationship.
Yeah, you kind of have to like grab the attention like literally in the first second. If not, people are just swiping through it.
I mean, YouTube's the same way.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've looked at your own analytics and seen that. Like, unless you're really working hard on it, you lose. Let's see if I can guess with your videos. I bet you lose 60% of your audience in the first 10 seconds.
You're about right. Yeah. That's about right.
Because if you look at our graph, it, you know, like the video comes out and it starts out real high, and then I feel like just like a lot of other people, it like dips really hard, and then it levels out at like 1 or 2 viewers, which is probably just me or him watching the video over again.
So with this most recent adventure into YouTube and trying to do it well, I have just been like, I've been hitting it really hard, both in like actually making videos, which is, you know, the best way to learn.
Right.
But also like just reading and research and watching other YouTube videos, and like, you know, watching editing tutorials, both like specifically about like capital E editing, like how to edit, how to, you know, tell stories, how to make your videos interesting, but also like the tools, like this is how you do a cut.
Right. A lot of the technical stuff, and also like the more creative stuff, aspects behind editing.
Yeah. And like, I think you can see it in my videos. If you look at my, like the first video of this most recent batch, it was like me giving a tour of this new workshop that I moved into when I moved up here to Muncie. Mm-hmm. And you compare that to my most recent one, they are an entirely different style.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot different. You actually recommended, and I can't remember his, like, I have trouble pronouncing his name, but
was it Hayden Hillier-Smith?
Yes, the editor for Logan Paul. And I've been watching a lot of his videos, and it, like a lot of the stuff he says makes sense. And when I watch his stuff, and then I go over to watch your stuff, I can see you kind of taking some of his like lessons that he shows in his videos and applying it to your
100%. Yeah, I watched all of his videos like probably a couple times at this point. The other place that I have learned the most from is there is a channel called Colin and Samir.
Oh, I know who they are.
Yeah, they're both entertaining, but they talk about YouTube, and specifically they have a couple interviews with Mr. Beast. Mm-hmm. And Mr. Beast is like at least as far as I know, like the expert at doing YouTube.
Yes.
And so like I've learned so much from watching those, like, you know, his videos and the videos about him and interviews with him. And then also Casey Neistat. Mm-hmm. I would say he's probably the closest to what, like, kind of where my style is based off of.
Yeah, he's definitely a like original one that kind of figured out the YouTube algorithm and what people wanted to see. He's like one of the first ones that really cracked that code and made entertaining videos to watch.
Yep.
You mentioned you listen to a lot of audiobooks and podcasts. I want to start with podcasts, but I also want to get into the audiobooks you listen to. Where do you listen to your podcast, and then what's like one that you really enjoy, or like your top 2-3 picks for podcast.
Did you say where I listen to podcasts? Like
Because normally I go on Spotify, or just because that's where I pay for it, Spotify, or I'll put on YouTube in the background and listen to a podcast.
I found that most of the podcast apps are pretty much all the same. I can't even tell you what my app is now. I think maybe Pocket Casts.
Okay.
I had one that I liked better when I was on iOS, but again, I don't even remember what that was called. I listen to all my podcasts on like 1.5 to 2 times speed.
Oh, snap.
We recently just talked about
that.
Yeah,
we just had a conversation about it.
I listened to your last episode. And I heard you guys talking about Audible. So, I don't know. The thing that made me choose this podcast player was like it handled the speed up faster. Because some of them will just like literally take your voice, like take the voice and speed it up, and it'll get like a little bit chipmunky and
like really choppy.
But the good apps, the ones that do it well, will remove the silence from between the words and like speed up the word just a little bit. So it may be playing at 2 times speed, but really what that means is it's just removing the silence between the words, and your brain doesn't really need that to understand what's going on.
Oh. That's interesting. Ever since we talked about it the other day, I've been really wanting to try and listen to it that way. Because before I listen to podcasts on Spotify, and I don't know if you know who he is, but I've listened to Graham Stephan, and he's had somebody on there before.
Finance guy.
Yeah, finance guy. He's had somebody on there before that's listened to has said that he's listened to videos like at 3 times speed, because like that's just the way his brain like moves. And I'm like, you know what? My brain is bouncing around everywhere all the time. I should try and like listen to some of these things a little faster.
Yeah, I found that like 2 is the limit where like I am enjoying the podcast. Like if above that, I can maybe follow it, but like it's not fun anymore. And like, what's the point of listening to a podcast or an audiobook if you're not enjoying it?
Right.
But now when I listen to a podcast on 1 time speed, especially if it's one that I'm familiar with at like 2 times speed, it just feels like you're driving and like the old lady is in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah, because
my brain is just adjusted to it.
Yeah, the only time I do that is for lectures. For like one of my classes, the professor just puts all his lectures out on online on Canvas. I'll just go on and I'll put it. I'm not on 2 times speed. I'll do it like 1.5 times speed, and I'll just sit there and I'll listen to it, and it makes the time go by faster. Before I know it, it's been like 15 minutes and the lecture's done.
All right, so you wanted podcast recommendations.
Yes.
There's a bunch of machining ones that I listen to that you guys in your audience want to care about. Though I should say, if you trace my history, like going through like business and like the things I'm interested in,
right.
The moment like I started learning about machining, I was like, I should get better at this. And I just typed in machining to my podcast like search bar, and I found this podcast called Business of Machining, and it like I've listened to that every week for years, and that has that got me interested in starting Design the Everything and making it what it is now.
Okay.
I'm going to pull up some podcasts. Okay, Planet Money and The Indicator, 2 separate podcasts run by the same people. Okay. Those are fantastic. They're about Pablo's favorite subject, the economics.
I don't know if I said it was my favorite subject, but
I think you said that in your last podcast, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, but they're super well done and actually interesting.
Awesome.
There's another one called How I Built This, which is just like a guy who's good at interviews the founders of companies. And he's done some like pretty big ones. I don't know, a lot of the big companies you would think of, he's done. Let's see.
Are there any specific type of podcasts that you veer towards, like normally? Like, so do you normally just listen to like that machinery podcast that you were talking about, or is that something to where like you listen to like once or twice a week?
I go through phases. Sometimes I'll find a new podcast and listen to a bunch of them. Sometimes I'm just like keeping up with whatever comes in my feed. It's really just like what I'm interested in, what mood I'm in at that point. Like sometimes you don't want just a super information packed one like the indicator might be. Sometimes you want one where it's just like, I've been listening to this podcast for 5 years and like it's kind of like hanging out with these people, and that's what I want right now.
Yeah. So when it comes to audiobooks, what do you tend to listen to? Is it more how to like maintain your business or self-help stuff or finance or things of that nature, or is it completely like sci-fi and off to the other end, or do you have like a healthy mixture of both?
So I have the Audible plan where you get 2 books a month. And it's not like when you subscribe to Audible, it's not like subscribing to Spotify where you just get everything. When you subscribe to Audible, they give you 2 credits, not sponsored by Audible. They give you like 1 or 2 credits a month, depending on what you pay for. And you buy the book with that credit and then you own it forever. Like it's yours. And you can't, they do have some books that you can just like stream. But for the most part, really all you're doing is signing up to buy books at a discount. But then you get to keep them. And so I get 2 books a month. I use 1 book for something that is just something that is fiction, something fun, sci-fi, fantasy, whatever's interesting to me.
Right.
And then I use the other book for something that is nonfiction.
Oh.
And like I went through like a business book phase. I don't know if you guys have ever read The E-Myth or The Goal.
No.
That kind of book.
I just got through a book that's called The Psychology of Money that I had a friend let me borrow.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you the author. Have you heard of that one?
Maybe.
I
haven't read it.
It pretty much tells you that everyone has a different aspect of money, and how you grow up influences, and the people you're around with influence your thoughts on money. And what's crazy to me could be completely normal to you as far as how we spend our money and how we deal with money. It kind of brings all that stuff to light. So I find it super interesting.
I've seen that. So one of the things I do at my day job is like buy the materials for the company.
Right.
And like it definitely changed the way that I look at money. Because at work, I'm like, here's $30,000 going out to a vendor. Like, oh, I'm going to spend $50,000 at this vendor, and like $15,000 over there. And then I get home and I'm like, should I buy this $15 thing on Amazon?
Yeah.
And like, that was a trap that I had to identify and see before, like and actively think about.
Right.
Because it cheapened the dollar to me, and like I wasn't making any more money. Like I don't know. It made it a lot easier to spend money.
Yeah. In that situation of you spending all that money, that was at work, correct? So you weren't necessarily spending your money; you were spending their money.
Oh yeah, no, I'm spending company money.
Okay.
And like, and that's not very much money for the company. Like that's just a day of metal.
Yeah.
Right.
$30,000. Yeah, and so it just cheapens the value of money to you. And even like with designing everything, it was like we have the exact same machine at my day job that I have in my shop, that mill I was talking about.
That's awesome.
And it was like okay, we need to make some parts. AJ, here's my credit card, go buy a mill. Like that's literally how that mill was purchased.
Oh, nice.
And compared to this one here, is like, I'm agonizing over it for a year before, actually pulling the trigger.
Right.
And then still having to finance it.
Right. It's different, when the company has what seems like an endless pit of money to just spend. You're just like, oh, cool, yeah, I'll buy this one, I'll buy this thing. But then when it comes to you, you know how much you're bringing in, you know where your expenses are, and you're like, okay, I can buy this, but I'm gonna have to finance it this way, or like, you know what, I can't afford this right now, and you just have to plan it out.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like you have to be really aware of lifestyle creep. That like just because you have more money doesn't mean you need to spend it.
Right.
Like that's really easy to do.
Yeah, well, good thing that when I was in the military, I had I guess we could call a supervisor, but he was my staff sergeant at the time when I was in Japan, and he taught me to really like focus on money and save and put it into a plan, like a retirement plan. I recently got into what's it called, index funds, and crypto is like
Okay. Yep.
super volatile, new type of thing that it's fun to talk about and like learning. I haven't really checked up on it in a while, but I still like look at it every day just
As
to
you
see what's
should.
going on. You know. So.
I've played with things. I never really got into crypto, but like I've played a little bit with stock trading, and like index funds are just the way to be. Like
Yeah,
I don't know why you'd bother with anything else if you actually want to make money. Like if you want to play with stocks, fine. I mean,
Right.
it's a fine hobby. But index funds are how you actually make money investing.
Yeah,
It's just really boring.
yeah, it's boring. It's not fun or glamorous. You know, you put in your money and then like 20, 30 years later, now you have a whole bunch of it. You know, it's not a quick growth, but it's definitely worth it in the long run.
Yeah.
So you said you don't really dabble into cryptocurrency or anything like that?
Yeah.
No. What are your opinions on
I've
it?
played with stocks.
Mhm.
I did a little bit of like, I had like a month where I was like, I'm going to do day trading.
That
And I
must
got
have been-
lucky, and then I stopped getting lucky, and then I stopped where I was ahead.
Yeah, honestly, really smart move on your end. Because a lot of people, especially if you hit gold or like you get really lucky at first, they keep on chasing that. So it's good that you stop before you wreck yourself.
That the stocks that I played with paid for the down payment on that CNC machine.
Oh, wow.
Whoa, nice.
All right, so I have a question for you guys.
Yeah, what's
Oh,
up?
And like
Of course.
I have not thoroughly watched your YouTube channels or your podcast. I've just watched a couple here and there.
Mhm.
What is your goal, both with the podcast and Jose with your YouTube channel?
Oh, that's right. Should we answer the podcast one first, or?
Yeah, I can kind of go into the podcast one if you want to, because I feel like we kind of share it.
Okay.
Well, I'll give kind of my goal, and then we have a lot of the shared, obviously, but obviously I'd like to have this be like my main job, and like doing this. I want to get my YouTube channel back up and going again, but with podcast specifically, I want to get better at interviewing people. Want to get better at just having a conversation through this medium, you know. So it's fun. I like watching it. I enjoy it. I like going around talking to friends. So I figured, well, why not just slap on some microphones, some cameras, and let's talk and let's see what we can do with this.
Yeah, and as far as my part, like Pablo said, like just getting to talk. Like I've never really realized how much I like talking until we started this podcast. Like literally, like when we would hang out, like just hang out normally, we would talk a lot. But whenever like there's a mic or like we have a guest, I didn't realize how much I like talking. But especially when we first started, I feel like we were a bit awkward when we started, and we sometimes and every once in a while we kind of are awkward, and I feel like that's just kind of the people we are. But my goal for the podcast is to kind of just have it to where we can look back at it and be like, we've looked back at it as memories, and hopefully like get sponsorships off of it. Because I know normally for like as far as like monetization goes, you can't make too much money on YouTube for monetization. You're gonna make it more off of like advertises or like sponsorships. And I just want to like be able to like have eventually some really cool guests on here that like maybe we've looked up to, like, you know, for a really long time, and like just be able to express our opinions on things. Like we did an episode on the Will Smith slap, and we smacked the crap out of each other. Like it's it was fun. So it's a thing to where like me and him can get together, talk, and just talk about anything and do it for fun, and then hopefully down in the future get some money for it.
Yeah, I really like the idea of just sitting down, and if we want to have a serious episode, we go more that route, but we can also turn it around the next one and get a little bit more goofy with it, you know.
Yeah, and we've been thinking about going into putting our episodes on Spotify, because I know the majority of the people who listen to podcasts are on Spotify, not necessarily YouTube, because it's more of a video type of thing. Because I've had my phone on some YouTube channels while I drive, and like it's in a way I'm just listening to it through Spotify because it's just the audio.
Yeah.
So sometime in the future we're gonna move all of our episodes onto Spotify so people can listen to them on there. But as far as my personal YouTube channel, I originally made it, I think, a couple months after we started the podcast, and I was honestly like so nervous to start it because I mean you've met me before. Like I'm an awkward guy. I didn't really talk. I haven't really talked too much, and I used the podcast as kind of a way for me to get out of my shell and start talking in front of the camera and like getting used to having a camera in front of my face to start my YouTube channel. And my long-term goal for my YouTube channel is eventually have it hopefully like one of my main sources of income. But
Okay.
as far as now, it's like making fun videos that I've always wanted to make and try and build an audience to where they like my personality and they want to watch my videos for me, not necessarily for the things that I do. But at the same time, I want to do things that are like really fun. Like we did a crossbar challenge. I did one with Gabby, and I recently did one with Pablo, which should be out soon. Link in the description. And and yeah, so like the goal for my YouTube channel is to hopefully end up getting some sort of revenue from it as well.
So can I give you some advice on your YouTube channel? Because
Of
I
course.
watched that, at least part of that video you were just talking about.
Yes, I would take any advice you're giving me.
So most of the metrics on YouTube are meaningless. The number of views you get, the number of subscribers, the amount of watch time doesn't really actually tell you how good your video is. And at the end of the day, like if you just make good videos, you will eventually start to get momentum. But there is one metric that is super critical that actually shows you how much people are enjoying your videos, and that is the percentage of their video, the percentage of your video that they actually watch.
Okay. So like,
And
go ahead.
you go ahead.
Yeah, so as far as like the percentage of the video that people watch, so ever since I've started my YouTube channel and the podcast, I've like been deep on like the analytics and like when people click off and like click back on, or like when they skip, or like how long they watch. And it's interesting to see like when people click off, and like it's like, oh, like they stopped watching during then, like maybe I could cut that segment of the video a little shorter so it cuts into the part that they actually did want to watch.
Yeah. And so this is coming from like a thing Mr. Beast said, which I'm just using as my metric. He said that a perfect YouTube video will have 80% retention. And that's basically like, you're always going to get some people that don't like, some people like accidentally click on a video. I don't know if you do this, but I do it all the time where I'll accidentally start a video and then like immediately change off. And like, that'll happen to everybody's video. So like, you're basically losing some retention points right off the bat. That's one reason there's this big drop right at the beginning. But in like an 80% video is like 100% score.
Okay.
And so I've been trying to get like as close to that as I can. And I'm trying to hit that 80% retention. And that's one of the reasons why my videos are shorter. Is because it's a lot easier to be interesting for 3 minutes than it is for half an hour.
Yeah, I agree.
So my challenge to you would be focus on retention and like owning retention. And then like once you start getting consistently above 60, 70%, then start focusing on click-through rate, which is like if somebody sees your video, like what percentage of those people actually clicked on it.
Mm-hmm. And that would be very reliant on the thumbnail, right?
Yes. Thumbnail, title, and then like how, like, I guess your reputation would be how I would describe it.
Yeah.
Because if you have a dedicated, loyal audience, like they're more likely to click on your video.
That's super interesting because I feel like YouTube kind of bombards you with a bunch of analytics and different charts. So it's kind of nice to know that a lot of these, they're nice to look at to see how you're doing, but to really hone in on one specifically.
Yeah. All the other ones are for like the algorithm.
Right.
But at the end of the day, the purpose of the algorithm is to get people to watch videos that they will enjoy. And so if you are just making videos that people actually enjoy and want to watch, then like no matter what the algorithm does, no matter how it changes, it will favor you because people actually care about what you're doing. And YouTube's job is to get people to watch videos that they care about so that they,
Right.
watch more of them and then watch more ads.
Yeah, I heard Mr. Beast say something along the lines of the algorithm is essentially just the people watching YouTube. Like they essentially dictate the algorithm.
Yeah. This is all right, ready for AJ conspiracy theory?
Yes.
Yes.
We love
I
these.
think the algorithm is actually a bunch of algorithms, and that like artificial intelligence and like machine learning has been around for a pretty long time at this point. And why, like if you're YouTube and you have, YouTube is Google, like they have so much computing power and resources. Why would you try to make one algorithm for everybody on earth? Like you are not going to want the same videos that I want. Like why would we have the same algorithm? So I think YouTube has a personalized algorithm that was like for every person. So I think each of us have our own little AI that is trying to feed us the videos we want.
I think that makes sense because I mean, when I click on a video that I like, and it's eventually when I'm scrolling through my YouTube feed, there's going to be something related to that thing that I clicked like 5 minutes ago, and that's not going to show up for Pablo because I'm the one who clicked on that video.
Yeah, and they're not going to show me like some random video that's in Russian about like ballet or something. Like, even if that video is going super popular over there, like they know I'm not the right person for that.
Yeah, you're more likely to get like machinery type of videos or more engineering type of videos, I assume.
Yeah,
that's something.
When I watched my first Mr. Beast video, YouTube was like, "You need to watch all of his videos." And all of my suggestions were Mr. Beast.
Yeah, that's how it goes. I like to listen to a lot of comedy, and sometimes I'll click on a video that I say like the best moments of this comedian, and then next thing you know, my homepage just a bunch of different ones, a bunch of different comedians, and I'm like, well, I'm not really interested in that. I just click this one.
Yeah. All right. So this is my other theory. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This is just like a theory of how to do YouTube bit better. So, and this like. I don't know, I guess it was about 2 weeks ago now, I made a video where the thumbnail was just please unsubscribe.
Yeah.
Because almost all of my viewers were from way back when, like, I had all these subscribers from that like first month of doing Fusion tutorials.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't, like I want a new audience. I don't really want them. I want to like pick up a new audience that is actually interested in what I'm doing now. But anyway, after that video, I started a new format of how I'm organizing videos. And a normal YouTube video is beginning, middle, end, beginning, middle, end, beginning, middle, end. Like one video has this one complete arc of like one story. Like it's one little journey in one self-contained little video. So like, and that's how cinema and TV, like it's how everything's been done forever.
Right.
But YouTube works a little bit different. And like, it's like, I want to give people kind of more of the impression that like kind of how, like, let's see this, kind of like how hanging out with someone in real life is. Like if I'm hanging out with you guys, like you do not fit neatly in a story arc. Like if you guys were in a story arc, like yesterday I found out Pablo was having a kid, and like he would have that kid by now because that's how story arcs work, and like nothing else would be happening. But like that's not how life is. Like life is messy and mixed up. So instead of having a complete story arc in each one of my videos, what I'm doing is I'm starting the video with the end of the previous story arc, and then I'm doing the beginning and middle of the next story arc. Then my next video will have the end of that story arc, and then the beginning and the middle of the next one.
Oh, I got it. So you're implanting you're essentially cutting one video into two or three different ones, and you're not necessarily uploading them one right after the other. You have multiple story arcs going at the same time through your YouTube channel.
So I generally only have one story arc at a time. It's like, okay, so let's say, pretend you had nice, neat columns of story arc and video, like all nicely lined up.
Okay.
Basically what I'm doing is I'm taking that top column of the videos and just like sliding it over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
like I'm not changing the content really, I'm just changing how it's broken up.
Right.
On how I release my videos.
So in like 3 videos, you have one story arc, and then maybe on that last third video, you have the beginning of another story arc, and then after that, it's just like the next video might be the middle of that story arc.
So, yes, more or less. Like, it hasn't quite worked out this neatly in reality, but ideally, like 2 videos would have, like 2 complete story arcs. But the first video would have the beginning. Hold on. I don't know if I can send you a picture. I was trying to explain this to a friend of mine today, and I drew him a picture.
Okay.
And
I was trying to make a mental picture, but I'm not gonna lie, I was having a little bit of a rough time trying to do so.
I know. I could see it in the
look in my face, just deer in the headlights type of look.
It's hard to explain. And maybe that's because what I'm doing is just off the wall and crazy, not going to work. But my goal is, like, if you're not completing a story arc in one video, then people have to come back for the next one.
Exactly, yeah.
Right. You leave them on a cliffhanger, so that way they want to come back to finish what was going on.
Did you get that? Did that work?
Looks like I did, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to talk while you look at that because viewer retention. I have started doing some kind of similar videos on my channel, and like figuring out how to edit those has kind of been a challenge. Like I don't know the best way of doing it yet. I've done some that are really heavily edited and some that I've done no editing on. I think the best place is probably somewhere in between.
Okay, so looking at the image you sent, it makes so much more sense than what you were trying to explain with just words.
Yeah.
Words are hard.
Yeah, you should see me on day-to-day life. It's not pretty. So essentially,
I make machine go burr. I don't do words.
Yeah, exactly. I like grunting. That's my favorite form of communication.
Yeah. All right, editor Jose, your job is to put this infographic on screen.
I got you.
Yeah. So essentially, like video 2 starts with the end of video 1, and then the middle of video 2 is the beginning, middle, and then it ends at the middle. And then video 3, you pick up where you left off on video 2, you finish that video off, and you start with that video right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Oh,
interesting.
I see what you're doing.
That's
there.
a very interesting way of doing it.
So I've never seen anyone else do this on YouTube. I can't imagine I'm the first. Like, there's so many people on YouTube. Somebody's done this.
Yeah.
They used to do it in TV shows. I can't remember any off the top of my head, but like in like early 2000s TV shows, like that's how they all were.
Yeah.
Except then you have to wait a week, which was just awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nowadays,
but in YouTube, like I'm doing the video every 2 or 3 days, so like I think I can get away with it.
So
I think so.
As far as that, do you think posting consistently on a consistent schedule is better than having like, oh, I'll post 2 to 3 videos 1 week, but it'll be on random days?
My theory is record a video when I have something worth recording and post it when I'm done editing.
Okay.
I do generally try to post it like at like 9 or 10 a.m. and not like, midnight when I generally actually finish editing, just because there's not people awake at midnight, and I like to get them out there so that like people can see them as they wake up and get going or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think it really matters too much, honestly.
Okay, because I've seen a bunch of things on YouTube, like there's like theories on like what time to post or like what day to post at what time.
Yeah, or even the length of YouTube videos and things of that nature.
I'm sure there's ways to optimize it.
Yeah, well,
I
like
just don't really care.
yeah, well, like you said, we all have different algorithms, so that
Yeah.
means we all have different ways of making our own YouTube videos work. So
Yeah. And my videos tend to be like 3 to maybe 5 minutes, but mostly like 3 minutes or 3.5 minutes. And really the only reason for that is like I want to do a video every like 2 or 3 days. And like I think it's easier to edit a video when you've recorded less of it. Like I think I think you can do 2 3-minute videos a lot faster than you could do like 1 6-minute video of the same quality.
right,
Just because there's less footage to go through. And so like I think it's the easiest way for me. And like 2 or 3 days of work is like if you cut out if you cut it down to just the interesting parts, it's like a 2 or 3-minute video or 3 or 4-minute video.
yep,
And so that's how I've gotten to my video length.
Okay.
awesome. Well, yeah, I mean, as long as you maintain it interesting, and I feel like at the end of the day, if you're putting out stuff that you enjoy, then like you just hope to pick up momentum and eventually reach that crowd and just start taking off from there.
Yeah. The other thought process I have, and this is why I chose to do the 2 or 3-minute videos, is like, okay, so I'm in this niche of like machinist YouTubers.
Right.
And like it's not a huge niche. There's maybe, I don't know, 10 or 20 channels that are like big and popular and doing well. I'm sure there's a million smaller channels I don't know about. But like of those, 10 or 20 big YouTube channels, almost all of them are like, I will post a like half an hour video or a 45-minute video, like maybe once a month. Sometimes like one of my favorite YouTubers is This Old Tony. He posts just like the best videos, but he does maybe like 5 or 6 a year. And so I'm like I want to like that role is taken. Like the people who are doing these long form, like just super well done videos, like people are already doing that,
Mhm.
but there's nobody who's making videos rapidly. So like I'm the little sand that fills in the cracks behind like the big rocks. That was my favorite.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cause now that you mentioned that, there's a YouTuber that I like, and is called the John Show, and he posts like once every 2 to 3 years, but when he posts,
Wow.
it's like a huge event. With the first hour, he's got like 26 million views or something crazy like that. So it just really great edited videos. Like it's super well put together, but I don't know. I feel like that takes a while to get there. At first, like you said, you kind of have to be the sand that fills in the cracks until you can learn how to make more entertaining stuff.
Yeah, because at that point, the reason he's getting those views is because he has that audience that like him and know that he only posts like 2 to 3 or once every 2 to 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So when he posts, it's a really big thing for them, and they like click automatically.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree.
I have a question for you, AJ.
Okay.
So at the end of the podcast, we usually do some would you rather's. But before we get into that, Pablo is starting to. Is trying to start his YouTube channel up again, but at the same time, in November, obviously he's gonna be a dad. Do you have any tips for him to kind of like handle being a dad, a new dad, in YouTube?
Sleep is optional.
Got it.
I don't know, like your situation will be different than mine because Elizabeth does not work.
Mm-hmm.
She is, ever since we had Ruth, been a stay-at-home mom. And like, I have a salaried 40-hour-a-week job. Like, it's very predictable. It's a very boring job, but like, it's easy for me to edit YouTube videos while I'm at work occasionally. Like, I probably have 30 hours of work a week that I actually need to do. And like, sometimes I can slip in editing a YouTube video.
Right.
I would say don't focus on your family first. That foundation is more important than YouTube. If you're doing YouTube and your family's falling apart, then you're probably not going to be doing YouTube very long. But if it is something that you want to pursue, you can definitely do both, just focused on smaller bite-sized content, which is like what I'm doing. Like I'm doing what I'm doing for a reason. If you have 10 hours of footage, it takes a long time to edit that video. If you have 45 minutes of footage, it like becomes much quicker.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll definitely take that into advice. Thank you.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start with Would You Rather's. We kind of do this just to kind of like end the video off with something fun to do. So we're gonna go in order of answering. Pablo will answer, you'll answer, and then I'll answer. So first one, would you rather talk like Yoda or breathe like Darth Vader for the rest of your life?
I have super bad allergies, so I kind of already breathe like Darth Vader. So I'm just gonna go all the way down that rabbit hole. Like,
oh man, I think I'd like to speak like Yoda.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. But I feel like I get very annoying really quick. You know.
I think I would breathe like Darth Vader. I feel like I already do. Gabby's always looking at me like, "Are you okay?" Because I'm always breathing so heavily. All right, next one. Would you rather lose the ability to lie or believe everything you're told?
Lose the ability to lie, definitely.
Yeah, I feel like I already don't have the ability to lie, so I'll take that one.
That's true, yeah. Yeah, same, because I feel like if I would believe everything that I've been told, I would just be a complete idiot. So, next one, would you rather be a genius and know everything or be amazing at any activity you tried?
Ooh. I think I would go with being good at any activity I tried. Like, what's the point of being a genius if you can't apply it?
Yeah.
I'm kind of in the same route. I'd rather just try something new for the first time and automatically pick it up.
Yeah, I agree. Me too. That would make life so much easier, to be honest.
What you guys don't realize is you are those people. Like, I've worked with both you guys. You guys pick up anything.
No, well, I appreciate that, but it's you should see my, like, I feel like I'm doing all right in college, but man, right now the semester is coming to an end, and it's like a train running into a wall at the moment.
Finals are hitting it pretty good.
Pablo, are you working full time while you're in school?
Yeah, I'm working the weekend shift, so at a warehouse, so I don't have time to study while I'm at work, and I'm doing 12-hour shifts. Oh man, I don't know. I wish I could be doing more. You know, I wish like I could step it up that one extra level.
Overachiever.
I don't know. I don't know if I try. It's just kind of in me, I guess.
He's like, I'm just great at everything, you know.
No. The only thing I'm consistently bad at is losing weight.
I feel you there.
Yeah. But all right. I really appreciate you coming on, AJ. It was great talking to you. I really miss having conversations with you.
Yeah, we haven't like talked in probably a couple years, so it was nice to reconnect with you, and hopefully we can have you on again on the podcast. Hopefully next time, maybe in person. If not, we could do this again too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed talking to you guys. It was great catching up.
Yeah, and we're moving up to Noblesville soon, and hopefully in kind of the same area. And it'd be great to have another game night if one day you guys can make it down. Because
or if you guys want to come up, like we could do a bonfire or something.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, that would be really fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we can definitely make some plans over the summer.
Yeah, and we'll leave AJ's YouTube channel down in the description. But if you guys liked the video, drop a like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.